Hi, I'm Kev, also known as Barbeque on Instagram. Welcome to my everyday cook show, part of the Friendly Fire Collective. I'm going to show you some ideas of things that I cook for my family all the time. Some quick dinners and also some ideas to get your low and slow fix without having to stay up all night cooking a brisket or doing the 3-2-1 method on ribs because it takes too long. So I'm going to show you how I do them hot and fast and feed your family every day. In this video we're going to be cooking ribs. In this case baby back ribs, but the method I'm going to be showing you works equally as well for St. Louis ribs. They might take a little bit longer. We're going to take the membrane off, trim off any bits of fat but the rub won't stick to. We're going to cook these 150 degrees, hot and fast method in a Weber SmokeFire. So we're going to take the membrane off the back of the ribs. Reason being, it goes like, so it's got like paper and it's not a very nice thing to eat. Some people prefer that, it gives you a bit of a snap when you're biting it. I personally hate it. So I'm going to take these off. The easiest thing to do is to use a teaspoon. Use the back of a teaspoon, nice blunt object. You can use a knife as long as it's not too sharp. I'm just going to get it in by a bone. Get your finger in. And hopefully, if it works the first time, the membrane falls right off. Apologies if you can hear any background noise, it's the SmokeFire. Pellet grills are quite noisy, but you pay the price for having the automation and making your life easy. I'm not going to do a lot of trimming on these ribs. What I am going to do is take off some of these bits of fat because the rub won't stick to them. That's the only reason really. They'll render down nicely, but the rub wouldn't stick and you have a big bald patch on your ribs and won't look very nice.
Actually, I didn't know that.
Do you not?
No. I'd trim it off if it just looks really fatty, but I would never trim it off because the rub wouldn't stick.
To be honest, I learned that from Scott during the barbecue school, so only a recent thing I know. Otherwise, I just wouldn't, usually I would have stuck them on.
Yeah, so would I.
Now you could trim this bit off a bit more to get that nice picture for Instagram with the ribs sticking out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to cut these and eat them. But what I am going to trim is these sort of flappy bits on the end, otherwise they just go all black and crispy and not very nice. Now I've got a quandary. There's a bit of belly on here. So do we keep the belly or do we take it off because there's a big layer of fat underneath? I'm going to leave it on, I think, so we can get the comparison of the two. But there should be there'll be quite a lot of fat sat under there. You can see the seam running there. It's not hard though, so it should render out. So this is what we've trimmed off of our ribs. There's not very much there. I'm going to chuck that out of the way. We've got a bin over there we're leaving open to attract all the flies and wasps into because they're plaguing us today, and that's working really well to keep them away from us, what we're doing here. French's mustard. This is always used as a binder. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a binder on one rack of ribs and not on the other, and we'll see if we can see any difference on the end. So what the rubs we're going to use today, again we're going to use Angus and Oink. We're going to use sweet bones and butts, which are designed as a rib rub. It's sweet, it's smoky, it has lovely colour. You'll see that as the cook goes through, it gives a lovely red colour. We're also going to go with a little bit of feather duster, just to give it a bit more complexity. This is more like a sweet heat. The rubs work really well together. You can also use both of these on chicken as well, works really well. Approximately 2/3 sweet bones to 1/3 feather duster. Now that our ribs are rubbed, we're going to put them in the Weber SmokeFire for 2 hours at 150 degrees. Then we're going to wrap them for a further hour with some liquid, and they should be lovely and tender and perfectly done. ribs have been smoking away for 2 hours at 150 degrees Celsius. I'm happy with the colour of them, so what I'm going to do now is wrap them with butter and brown sugar and a little bit of apple juice. I'm going to put them back in the smoker for another hour. So as you can see, the ribs are coming on pretty nicely, but they're not quite there yet. We want these to bend without breaking. These ones actually are probably further on than the other ones are. What we're going to do is just pick off any nasty bits off the bones that we don't want to see. And to get that great picture for the gram, we're just going to tease the meat away from the bones a little bit. Just gently. Let's go on to our butter and brown sugar. Meat side down. Now being careful not to rip the foil on the bones. And we've got this nice as tight as we can. So here we are, here's the ribs. You can tell they're ready because they're bending without breaking. Oh, say that, just broken. So they're slightly over, these are probably about perfect. These are the slightly thicker ones anyway. So what we're gonna do, we warm the sauce up. We're just gonna spread the sauce on and they're ready to eat. Don't judge me, because I'm terrible at cutting ribs. There we have our ribs. The smaller rack is definitely a little bit overdone, probably by 15-20 minutes. The bigger rack is, well, we'll see, but I think they're perfect. We can't remember which one we put the binder on now, the French's mustard, but we'll put a note in the video afterwards.
See, they look more appealing to me because I know they're overcooked.
Really?
Yeah, I like the.
Let's try the overcooked one.
Already. I use sweet bones and butts for everything now. You can definitely taste the difference in that with having a feather duster in there. Let's try these ones. These are doubled up. That's the bit. It's the bit of belly you said was on it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So for me, I prefer these with a little bit of bite.
I'll give you credit, these are the best ribs I've had where there's bite on. They're usually too chewy for me, but these are like perfect amount. I still do prefer them to fall off the bone, but these are, I'd smash all these in. I'm not going to though, because I'm saving room for the beef cheeks.
So a little recap on our rib cook. We removed the membrane from the back of the baby back ribs. We took off a bit of fat so the rub would stick to it. We rubbed it with Angus and Oink feather duster, sweet bones and butts. So we put the ribs into the Weber SmokeFire for 2 hours at 150 degrees Celsius. We spritz them every half an hour, 45 minutes with apple juice. After 2 hours, we put them into a double layer of tin foil with butter and brown sugar and a little bit of apple juice. Wrap them up as tight as we could, back into the SmokeFire for another hour at 150°C until we tested them for tenderness, where they were bending without breaking. Once we were happy with that, we took them out, sauced them with Red House sauce, and here we are, finished ribs. So the foil that we used was from Costco. It's quite a lot thicker than normal foil. It's really handy to use that because then the bones don't rip through the foil quite so easily as your average supermarket foil will do. So if you get your hands on some, that'll make your life so much easier.
Just gonna get a rib while you do it.
Yeah, go for it. So pretty pleased with how the rib cook came out. One rack's pretty much perfect in my opinion. The other rack's pretty much perfect in Clarky's opinion. Hopefully you liked watching this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. So make sure you check out the other shows on our channel, and there's plenty more coming, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll put these on the table, you can just keep eating if you want.
I don't think I can tell what's got the mustard on.
No, I can't tell. I can't tell either.